Hello class, and welcome again to another lesson on JavaScript operators. In our previous lessons we have looked at the arithmetic operators. We have also looked at the assignment operators. In this lesson we focus on the comparison operators. The comparison operators are the JavaScript operators or symbols that are used to compare between values. And comparing between values, you are trying to determine whether this value is greater than this other value, or whether they are equal, or whether it is less, or whether it is greater. So some of the examples of the comparison operators include the equal operator, which is demonstrated using the double equal sign, and then we have the triple equal sign, which compares both the value and the type. We shall see that. And then we have the not operator, not equal, and not equal double equal sign. We have the greater operator, we have the less than operator, we have greater than or equals to, and we have less than or equals to. So without a further ado, let us get started and see how we can apply these comparison operators in our code. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to go over to my Visual Studio Code, and you can see this is the code we created for the assignment operators. Now I'm going to remove this particular code right here, and again I'm going to rewrite it over again. So I'm going to declare another variable called x and assign the value 25 to it, and I'm going to declare another variable called y and assign the value 60 to it. And now I want to use the comparison operators, and here I'm going to say console.log and say x equals to y. So when you look at these two values, x is storing the value 25, y stores the value 60. And we know very well 25 is not equal to 60. So when we print x equals to 20, we are either going to get true or we are going to get false. It will be true if the two values are equal, and it will be false if the two values are not equal. So by saying x is equals to y, we are using the comparison operator. So this double operator is what is used to compare if two values are equal or not. And now let us save this code and let us run the program again and see what will be printed. So when I run the program, you can see on your screen false is printed on the screen, meaning that x is not equals to y. So this is an example of comparison operator. The next comparison operator is the triple equal sign. So here we are using a double equal sign. What about if we use the triple equal sign? Before even using the triple equal sign, let us make these values the same, 25, 25, and now we print x equals to y and see if it will print true or false. So when I run the program again, you're going to see that it prints true, because now the value stored in x and the value stored in y are the same. And now instead we can use another comparison operator, which is the triple equal sign. And now let's save, and again when we run, it is going to give us true still, because 25 is equal to 25. The difference between using double equal and the triple equal is that the triple equal compares both the values and the type of that value. Using the double only compares the values but not the type. Assuming now we use the double equal sign and the value stored in x is 25, the value stored in y is 25. But now this time round, we are not storing 25 as a number, but we are storing it as a string. So we know a string cannot be a number. But when we use a double sign, this string is going to be converted to a number before comparing them. So with that, it will still print true. So when you run the program again, it will print true, despite x is storing a number and y is storing a string. But still it will give us true. But if we use triple equal sign, the triple equal sign will compare the values and the type. Here we are storing a number type, and here we are storing a string type. So a string is not the same as a number, and therefore when we use triple equal sign, then it will print false because we cannot compare a number to a string. So that is the difference between the double equal sign and the triple equal sign. The next comparison operator is not equal. So the not equal determines whether the two values are not equal. So if we use not equal here and we save, so now let's go back to store number in both. So I want to store number. Instead of putting within quotation marks, I'm going to put it as a number. And now we know x is equals to y. But now we are using the operator not. So what will it print? Is it a false or a true? So it is going to print true. It's going to print a false because x is not equals to y. And we are comparing the values. So let me run again. And we see false on the screen. The next comparison operator is using a not operator and the double equal sign. So let me use double equal sign and now save. So let us run the program again. And still it prints false. And now let us put new different values here, maybe 30. And now when we run, it prints true. It is true that x is not equals to y. Okay. Then the next comparison operator is the greater than symbol. So we also want to determine whether x is greater than y. To do that, we use the greater than operator. So again, when we save and we run the program again, you're going to see that it will print false because x is not greater than y. Again, the next comparison operator is the less than, and the less than operator is used to compare whether one value is less than the other value. So when we use less than here, we're trying to say x is x less than y. If that is true, it will print true on the console. If it is not true, it will print false on the console. So let me save these changes. And now when I run the program again, it gives you true because x is less than y. But now let us make x 50 and now try to rerun the program again. So this time round, it will give us a false because x is not less than y. The next operator is greater than or equal to. So let us see that in our code we have x is 50 and y is 30. So we can use the comparison operator greater than or equals to. If we use greater than or equals to, what do we expect to see on the screen? Is it a true or a false? So it is going to be true because x is 50 and y is 30. And therefore, when it evaluates this, it is true that x is greater than y. So when you run the program, you will see that we have a true. What about if we have the value of y now as 50? Still, it will be true because x is equal to y. So we are using two conditions here. Either it is equal, if it is either it is greater or it is equal. So now when we run the program again, still it will give us true. What about now if we change the value of y to 55? Now x is not greater than 55, neither is it equals to 55. So now when we run the program, it is going to give us a false. Okay. The last comparison operator is less than or equal to. So the less than operator is written using this way, or equals to. So when you look at this, x is less than or equals to y. And when you evaluate these two variables, it will give you true because 50 is less than 55. And now when you run the code, it will give you a false. And now let me first of all change it. It's supposed to give us a true, so I have not saved. So now let me run it, and now it gives us true. What about if we make y 50? So this will also give us true because 50 is equals to 50. But now if we change the value of y, of x to 58, for example, now it will give us false because 58 is not less than 50. So when we run the program again, it will give us a false. So class, that's all about the comparison operators. And that's how you can use it. And once we advance further in the next upcoming lessons, we shall be able to use these operators in a real world application. Otherwise, that's all about this particular content, and see you in our next class where we look at the logical operators.